We're actually fitting the flaps on now, so the test piece has come apart because we needed those hydraulics, and Sean spent a few hours just lining up all the hinges, drilling out, putting the hydraulics on, and he's on the last hydraulic. Let's see this get clipped in action. Hello everyone, welcome. Ryan here from the London Craftsman channel. How are you? Right, today's video is a little bit off the cuff. I'm making it purely to show you how I'm solving a problem. There are two problems which I've come across, a little bit of an oversight on my behalf, and there's a few bits that I haven't done before, hence the problems. So basically it's stemming from two media units that I'm making, and they're both TV media units. I decided to make it look nice and chunky. I wanted to use 25mm. And I totally forgot, or an oversight, that the hinges that I needed to use were concealed hinges. Obviously, concealed hinges, whatever type you use, Blum, whatever brand, the most overlay you generally get from a concealed hinge is 18mm, and that was a problem. And I came across that problem once I started to fit the flaps. So these units had flaps that come down rather than up. So the problem was, how do I get over that? So I looked around online and I found Hefeli's do hinges that give you up to a 24mm overlay. But another thing is I wanted to, not such a problem, it's something that I'm testing and making sure it works, is the hydraulics. So the hydraulics are basically on the bigger unit. I'm going to show you that in a moment. They need to work with the concealed hinges. So that's another first, and I've not really used hydraulics before, maybe once or twice, but not enough to give me the experience I need to know what I'm doing on that department. So what I've got behind me is I've mocked up a little frame with a 25mm bottom on it, but it's mainly how the concealed hinge works up against the 25mm bottom and how we can get this hydraulic arm to work with that particular hinge. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to crack on and show you the units that I made. So it's resting in here, it was under a cover. So here are two units, both made out of 25mm. This is a small unit, it's only 2 meters, 2.4. This one was 3 meters, so we had to buy oversized 25mm oak veneer for this particular one. So this is the bottom, and it sort of flaps down like this. So the concealed hinges that I actually bought from Hefeli's, the 24mm overlay, will work with the 25mm. We just basically need to make the flap work with the hydraulics on this unit. Let's walk in. And what I have actually done is mocked up a little corner. So there's the 25mm. It doesn't matter what size that piece is, even though it's 25mm on the other units, it doesn't matter because there's our pretend flap. It's just gonna flap down like so. The side doesn't matter whatsoever. So that's the idea. We're just simply having a flap that comes down very slowly with the aid of these little hydraulics. I use GTV components quite a lot, draw runners and hinges, and I've never had any problems. I've been using them for a long time. And these are stupidly cheap, like £2 each, £3 each. And these are the slow down hydraulics, which actually take the weight out the flap rather than having the flap at the top and lifting it up like a kitchen cupboard where the flap goes up. That would push the piston out, whereas this is more like a damper. It just takes the weight out of the flap, so you don't need to hold the flap on the way down. And these are the hinges that I'm using. These are the ones I was talking about. So these are the Tiamos grass, and let me close one. I've just got sprung. I've not got soft close because I don't want the soft close to sort of like bind or, you know, react with these hydraulics, but it's still giving me that force I need to hold that flap in place. So that is the theory, and this is why we're mocking all of this up. So obviously you've got your two hinges going like so. That is my first port of call, is to drill out these hinges right now with a 7mm start to the hole using a 35mm hole cutter. Right, so now all we need to do is fit the hinges. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to put a straight edge up against my two hinges. That will square them up, and I'm just going to go straight in with a screw. Right, so that's the hinges on. This is what we got. So if you are liking our content, feel free to subscribe. We're at 30.5 or 30.7 thousand subscribers now, which is pretty cool. Thanks everyone for helping me get there. And just screw those on. Okay, flap on. Let's see how it works. Okay, so this is the first time I'm trying it. And let's go on the side and see how it reacts at the bottom. Right, obviously we're gonna have to adjust it up. It's very slightly just scraping the bench at the moment. And it just looks like we just need to adjust that out ever so slightly. We haven't got a big enough gap. Okay, so readjusted and it works fine now. As you can see, I mean, it's got no hydraulic, but those sprung hinges do pull it in place and it works. So the hydraulic there is to guide it down slowly and to hold it in position. So it's not putting the strain on those hinges, being left flat down like this. These are the flaps that are going on, 3 of them, all ready to go. So now the flap's done and we know the hinges work nicely with a 25mm Carcass. Let's go ahead and solve these hydraulics. So to do this, I'm just gonna flap this down. I've also seen that the packet has instructions on it. This is a 60 Newton hydraulic damper. You can get 80, 100, 120, and the list goes up and up. I went for the lowest amount because I didn't want that flap to be really stiff on the way down. I want it just enough to guide it down and act as a stay when it gets down to the bottom. And so this is the way the hydraulic arm is going to be, the thinner part of the piston at the bottom. This round part will be at the top on the side, like so. And you've got 2 of these pivot arms at the bottom. I'm going to aim for the smaller one, but what I've done here, it tells me to come up 245 from the edge of the door. So make sure your door is level, like so. Take your tape measure, 245 to the start, okay? Mark that on. Then come across 25mm in and create that crosshair. That center of that crosshair is the center of this circle. So what you'll need to do is just eye it up, or just do it however you like, and make sure that is screwed in place within those measurements. Bottom one, draw this edge in. So this is the inside edge of your Carcass. Draw that line in, which I've done. It's completely in line. Come across 15mm. Okay, draw that 15mm line in. Then come down 90mm. And that line there is the start of the center. So that 90mm line is the center of this piece, and the 15mm line from the inside of the Carcass is the back edge. So get that screwed down there. I'm just going to screw them on to the Carcass and the flap first, and then clip the hydraulic on. Okay, simply just clip that on. If you'll want to take it off, and for some reason it's got this little hook at the top, pull that hook down and over this tab, and this whole metal piece should slide out, allowing you to take the ball out of the socket effectively. They should just simply click in. There we go. Okay, so there's an obvious problem. It's not completely straight at the bottom. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, so it sits inside nicely. Hey! But remember, we've got one either side of the flap. So I need to figure out why it's not going all the way down to the bottom. So just thinking out loud, if this part of the bracket was down lower by 20mm, for example, if that dropped down, then effectively allow that flap to go down 20 more mil. I know it's not in the instructions, but I mean, I have followed the instructions. So let's test. So when I compress it, have I got 20mm spare in the rest of that piston? And the answer is yes. So what about if I cheat and see if that works? Okay, another brainstorm. I thought to myself, if I just remove the bracket at the top and let the flap fall into its correct position where I want it, why can't I just then put that up at the top? Obviously with the damper completely extended, not like this, so you just pull it up as high as it will go, and then work out the center point from there. And in my estimation, it is about 20mm. I'm gonna go for 20mm. Okay, dropped it down 20mm. I'll put that clip back on. I'm simply just going to click that in place and see if that works. So there we go, it's holding it at the right level. Pretty decent. So let's see if it goes up and closes without anything being hampered. Yep, I think we are there. Happy with that. With 2 hydraulics, remember you could play around with the different weights. I've gone for 60. On the website, it gives you the PDF and it says what width of the flap and what height of the flap and the weight of it. It didn't give my sizes. I had 300 by a meter. So I estimated what I wanted. So if you do get it wrong and it goes down too quickly or too slowly or it's too stiff, for example, just change it. It's just a matter of just unclipping these because the brackets will all be the same, I'm guessing. These are only about 2 or 3 quid each. So at the end of the day, it's not a lot of money just to change them over, but I like the fact that it works. My plan has come together. We're actually fitting the flaps on now, so the test piece has come apart because we needed those hydraulics, and Sean spent a few hours just lining up all the hinges, drilling out, putting the hydraulics on, and he's on the last hydraulic. Let's see this get clipped in action. Yeah, they clip on nicely. Now lift them all up, Sean. And then just do 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All the hydraulics all in a row. Got ourselves out of a hole, didn't we? Yeah. With those 24mm overlay hinges and these hydraulics, these dampers, I quite like that. And they've come together really nice. Well, chuff with that. Back up. So we've got these little push catches to go on, just to push it out enough. Obviously these side flaps, you could just get to the end and open them, but the middle one you can't. So we're just going to fit one of these possibly in the center at the top, like so, just to click it open enough to get your fingers. As you can see, we've got a slight lip here. So we just need to push that out just enough to get your fingers in to open the flap. There you go, really happy with the outcome, really positive, wasn't it? The way the hydraulic works and the hinges work with the 25mm carcass. So it's got me out of trouble, these hinges, and first time try at guessing which hydraulics or dampers to use. It's worked perfectly. So what I'll do is I'll leave a description for the hydraulic dampers and the hinges in the description. So if that's helped you, taken something away from that, please, please, please hit that subscribe button and the bell. If you hit the bell, then you'll see what videos pop up that I upload every week. Plus I'm doing a few more shorts nowadays, so you'll see a few more of those. So other than that, guys, I hope you have a good rest of the day. Take it easy.